Well, welcome to session 8 of your Divine Purpose Devotional. And I've called this the apostolic lens for everyone. And as you probably know by now, I'm going through this book, which I've just recently published. It's available on Amazon in hard copy and also on Kindle. In the book, I've titled this First Apostles. And, upon reading the verse, that's the key verse for this session, and God has appointed in the church first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then miracles, then gifts of healing, helps, administrations, which I love, is right in the middle there of that verse with so many supernatural elements, and then various kinds of tongues. It's very easy to look at that verse and think, gosh, this is hierarchical. But remember, the apostles and the prophets are the foundation of the church. And really what this verse, in my opinion, is about is that Paul is describing the perspective, the principles, and the purpose of the apostle. And that's what must be first. It's not about a top-down leadership model. It's about a bottom-up. It's about empowering. And as we've already looked at, the apostle and the prophet are both key to creating the culture. And in a way, that's foundations, because that's what everything grows out of. So the apostle gives us our first lens to view everything through, the lens of the sent ones. After all, we're seated in heavenly places. And so that's where I start, and I do love the principle, which is summed up by C.S. Lewis, of first and second things. If you put second things first, you get neither first nor second. But if you put first things first, you get first and second. Jesus said it his way, of course, long time before C.S. Lewis. He said, seek first the kingdom and all these things. And so, in a way, if we put the apostle first, it means that the apostolic DNA is at the beginning. It's the first way that we view everything. See, I'm not at all concerned that Paul was creating a hierarchy in his letter, because throughout we see that Paul positioned himself with humility, considered himself the least of the saints, the greatest of the sinners. And, as I look at definitions of the apostle, I look at the characteristics, of course, of the apostle, and therefore the apostolic. And it's not about emphasizing particular activities, but rather the expressions and outcomes that are biblically and universally related to the apostle and therefore the apostolic. And I've listed some of these in the book, and I'm just going to go through them on today's devotional. You see, firstly, the apostolic creates or is about an empowering culture that sends, promotes, and celebrates. That's for us all. If you get around somebody who's calling themselves an apostle and they're not sending, promoting, and celebrating, just pause for a minute and have a think, because that's the apostolic. And we see that, of course, in Jesus, the one who sent us. The Father sent me, so I send you. Who promotes us, says greater works than these shall you do, and celebrates. I believe with the apostolic, there is a shared experience and expectation of hope and joy. We'll look at that again in another session, but this is absolutely key. So when we have the lens, the apostolic lens for everyone, we're going to see through hope and joy. An emphasis on relationship rather than structure. Again, we see that with Paul. I, Paul, send you Timothy. So much of what he wrote was about us having healthy relationships. And a big one, of course, is the demonstration of supernatural power. If your first lens is the apostolic, if your first lens is asking what is in heaven that should be on earth and what isn't in heaven that shouldn't be on earth, we start to step into supernatural power. It is an assignment to represent Christ, who in turn reveals the Father. The apostolic is strengthening, encouraging, and has many prophetic interactions with each other. Carries an awareness and value for the unseen realm. I want to tell you this, even if you don't see it yourself, have a value for it. I can't tell you the number of times people have told me, oh, there was an angel by your right side when you were preaching. At first I'd say, gosh, I wish that angel would show up for me. But now I'm just encouraged that there is an unseen realm. And whilst I may not see it, I'm encouraged by those that do. The apostolic is about an ongoing relationship with God who speaks today. Very, very important and vital that we live that out. The apostolic will cause us to instinctively confront the impossible in faith. The apostolic, another one of my favorites, we'll see these popping up through all the devotional. This is kind of an introductory list, but one of my favorites is the embracing of mystery. I've many times quoted Bill Johnson, if you have no mystery in your Christian life, you have reduced your God to your level of understanding. That's a scary one, because if you do, you'll end up worshiping you. Building on the foundation of others is crucial for the apostolic culture. We build on the foundation of others. We have an ongoing expectation of encounters with God. Of course, we see that in the Apostle Paul, whose encounter on the road to Damascus also included the prophecy. You'll have more encounters. You'll have more revelation. And we see that time and time again. And a huge one, perseverance that never quits. And I love that verse in Revelation 3:10, which says, you have kept my perseverance. That's an interesting perspective. Sounds like a definite article there to me. You have kept my perseverance. So the principle of our faith is that it starts in our minds, and it's really about changing the way we think. That's true repentance, changing the way we think. Perhaps you've been exposed to apostles who haven't encouraged, who haven't sent, who haven't carried these principles. Perhaps even you might have been around some who've been self-appointed. Well, I want to just say to you today, put the apostolic first. It's not about putting the apostle first. It's about putting the apostolic mindset first. It's not about people with titles. It's about taking the words of Jesus to heart. We're the sent ones, sent with heaven's perspective, which will affect everything we do. There are apostles. I know them. I know some of them. I love them. But I urge you, don't wait until you find one that meets your needs or expectations. Embrace the apostolic assignment of Jesus. Apostolic first is not about hierarchy. It's about a lens. It's about a perspective. It's about a way of looking at this world and living in it. So I want to just ask you at the end of this session, review what are the benefits of the church being built on the foundation of the apostles and the prophets. What do you think that would look like in practice? And declare, what will you declare to reinforce what you've learned? Perhaps it's that you're going to declare, I have a value for the unseen. I embrace mystery. I don't need to know the answers to everything. I'm going to build on the foundation of those that have gone before. Choose a declaration that fits with the apostolic and reflect on your experience of apostleship. Have you seen it misused? Well, the question is, what does God want to redeem for you about it? You are apostolic, and these are some keys. This apostolic mindset, put on the apostolic lenses. Be apostolic first. See, the pastor needs to be apostolic first. The teacher, apostolic first. The prophet, apostolic first. And the evangelist, apostolic first. Because the apostolic lens will lift them above what can be done in the natural and into what can be done, partnering with heaven in the supernatural. So I bless you today. Put on those lenses. Put on the apostolic first lenses, and it will change the way you see, and it will change what you expect to see. And may God bless you in your apostolic assignment. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.